your boy Gabriel Hodder.
Matthew Omen, we are all fight, no fight, primal fear.
And you're watching BJ and DG Talk Wrestling. Yeah!
Welcome back, everybody, to BJ and DG Talk Wrestling. BG here, DG over there.
What's going on, everybody?
Our guests today are Gabriel Hodder, Matt Omi, and Adrian Soriano. Primal Fear.
What up, guys? Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for being on.
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having us.
Of course.
A little intro of us before the show. I forgot we did.
Come on, Gabriel. If they're gonna bring this on, you gotta do the year. Like, come on, dog.
Yeah, well, we got it before the show. I saw that. Me. I know that guy.
Man, they blew my opening. Damn.
That's what I'm saying. I see the opening. They got Matt, Gabe. You do the thing. Now I'm here. Like, come on, dog. Come on.
Yeah, I thought
we're definitely going to have to do a new recording of that.
Yeah, we gotta get up there.
It's all right. I've been away for a year. We just gotta get our stuff back together. It's all good.
Fair enough. So speaking of which, do you have any matches scheduled?
As of right now, the only match that I have scheduled is on June 27th, Super Crazy Pro Wrestling Inner Demon 7. Myself having my first return match back with my boys, Matthew Omen, Gabriel Hodder, getting back together for the first time in over a year to take on the Revelation and 6-man tag team action. No, but look, I wouldn't want to come back any other way. What better way than to come back, team up with the boys, and show a couple of clowns who think that they can do this trio thing the way we do. You know, show them what it's really about.
So different.
Yeah, I mean, they've had the odds on us this whole time. You know, they had the numbers game, but now things are finally evened out. So we're gonna see what's up.
Can't wait.
Even with that, though, you guys have held Super Crazy Tag Team Championships for over 400 days, and you just run the Skid Row Academy Tag Team Championships as well.
Yep.
So even being outnumbered, you guys are holding your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, Adrian had to, it was big credit to him because he had to come out and help us. I don't know what would have happened, if he didn't come make that save at that show last month.
Yep. But look at us now. We are the official undisputed tag team champions of Super Crazy. So it's crazy.
We right the wrongs.
So are those titles now unified, or are they just two separate championships you guys hold still?
I think that's something that the commissioner has to decide on. As for right now, double champs.
We got 2 belts, baby. That's it.
Hey, that's what it's all about. It's winning the gold.
Always looking to add more.
So, I caught your guys' first Instagram live last week.
Yep.
And I believe you guys said something that you guys trained with Damian Priest at Monster Factory.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So he was honestly, I guess he was like the head trainer, you would say, during our time at the Monster Factory. So, he was like an amazing trainer. He, at that time, was training at the ROH dojo. So he would kind of go train there, like bring back stuff he learned there to us. And then we even got more of a privilege because like not only was he our trainer, but we were in like a little like group with him. So like we got like in-ring experience with him, and like that was such like really like leveled us up being in the ring. Someone that was doing it as long as him at that time, and like for how good even back then he was, like you learned like right in front of you. It was crazy to see it.
Yeah, and he was a really good like role model because the whole time we were training there, he was just getting his feet into like Ring of Honor at the time. So we kind of watched him come up in Ring of Honor the whole time we were there, up until he got signed to NXT. He left for the NXT, but what better role model, like leading by example to have than that,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate Damien a lot because when we were training under him, like like Matt was saying and Gabe, we were watching him like essentially like growing in the business, and whenever he would come down to the Monster Factory and train with us, there'd be times where he would talk to the entire class and just saying like, hey guys, just letting you know that I am here to help train you guys, but just know that I'm out here busting my ass too, trying to make it myself. And I really appreciated that from him because it helps open your eyes, just knowing that, not only is this guy taking care of you, but just know that this guy is making himself a priority too. So you have to step yourself, you got to step your game up. And, by watching him do his thing, hopefully it makes you want to get better yourself. So I credit Damian Priest a lot because I kind of feel like maybe we might get into it later in this conversation. I don't know, just with what we have going on at Skid Row Academy right now as well.
Yeah, and like one thing I'll say about like Damien, like at the time, like Punisher, we know him by different names, but like he was the most like unselfish like wrestler I've ever like he opened so many doors, like not just for us, but like other guys at the time, like Nick Camarado, Preston Vance. Like we were extras whenever he had like a big match at Ring of Honor, and like he didn't have to do that. He just wanted us. People knew our faces. Like when we did our Ring of Honor tryouts, like they knew us because we've been extras with him so many times. And like he was all about like opening doors for people. And like it's cool to see that because there's a lot of people in wrestling that for whatever reason, like they like to hold people back. And like he was the exact opposite. Like he wanted everyone to get out there and he did like what he could to get people in positions to be in front of the right people.
Oh, that's awesome.
But then that's when we had to come in, like we had to earn that opportunity for him to want to take us to places, like he wasn't just taking anyone.
No, yeah.
Like we had to do our part, and like he took us under his wing essentially and just opened that door for us, because once he left to Florida and started training at NXT, it was up to us, to sink or swim. And, we had the opportunity to get into the Ring of Honor dojo, and we've been able to wrestle there a few times. So as much as, we want to sit here and credit him, just know that we put in the work too. And, we earned everything that we got during that time with Damien and Ring of Honor.
That's absolutely awesome. He sees the guys that work hard, pay their dues, put in the time, and he's trying to elevate those around him. You said something about wrestling in Ring of Honor, so I was doing some research earlier, just familiarizing myself with more of your guys' stuff from before I first saw you, and saw that you guys, I believe it was the three of you, had a match with Dalton Castle and the boys in Ring of Honor. Can you tell us about that experience some?
Yeah, so that was even like in our most or like the most recent like incarnation of Ring of Honor, which that it's a little different than how it was like when we were originally there under old ownership and stuff. But like that was an awesome opportunity. Like that kind of just came up for us, and like that was the second time in our career we got the challenge for the Ring of Honor 6-man championship. So like that was a really cool opportunity. It was in Philadelphia, which was like pretty much our hometown. So like that was cool.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere because we've been brought in a couple of times for AEW Dark, and I believe that may have been our third time there. And each time that they brought us in, they used us in tag team and trios matches. So for us to find out, because we're waiting before the show to start because they usually have the board in the back where they're writing down matches and stuff, and everyone's waiting to see if they're even going to get booked on a show. We're just happy to be there, to get the opportunity to be brought in. So then when we see our names written down and then we see Dalton and the boys written, and then for the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championship, we're like, yo, that's so freaking cool. Let's go.
Yeah. And like Dalton and the boys, honestly, like were people, we weren't like super close with them or whatever, but like we had previously wrestled the boys like in a dark match at Hammerstein Ballroom like years ago for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Ring of Honor.
Dalton was like around when we were doing our stuff, like there would be times where like he'd be backstage and like helping with promos, like talking to us about like characters. So like, it was cool. Like it was people that we were familiar with and like got to kind of link back up with them.
Yeah, I want to give credit to like all of the roster that was there with Ring of Honor before they shut down, because like everyone there was always willing to help us out. Whenever we had a match or whether it came to promos, backstage vignettes, or any of that stuff, everyone like was very they were always giving to us, and like none of them didn't have to do that, but they were looking out because they wanted what was best for the product. and we came out better because of that. So shout out to everyone.
It was definitely at times a little like stressful because for whatever reason, like half of the locker room would hang out and just watch everybody do promos. So like everyone's just watching you do these promos, but like they said, like no one had to like offer advice, and like people would. Like someone who like really stepped up like big time one time randomly was just like Angelina Love.
Yep.
Like just came up to for a match and was like, I would like to like rehearse an entrance with you guys, like some new stuff you could try.
Hey,
And that was like really cool. Like one of our matches, she like tweeted, she was like, "Oh, like Primal Fear is like a team to look out for in the future." Like that was cool.
That's all.
I don't remember the gentleman's name, but even like the main the guy that had the camera, I don't remember
Hater.
his name, but yeah. But he would like even before the show starts, he would like come up to us and like help us with the entrance. And if you go back and like watch our matches over time, you see how the entrance evolves too, which was very cool.
Yeah, everyone there was like super helpful, man. That was like such an awesome locker room. Like another person like I would give huge credit to was Shane Taylor.
okay.
Like we worked them and SOS, who we were in the dojo with, but we worked them for the 6-man titles originally, and like it was like at the time we were kind of like nobodies, and like they gave us like a competitive match, and like he made it a point afterwards to be like, I have to help like elevate talent, or else like what's going on around here. And like I always thought that was really cool. Like again, he's another wrestler that like I would say is like he does it for the right reasons. Like he elevates people, he doesn't hold people back.
Tell me a little bit about how Primal Fear got started, how long you guys have been around, how it came together.
I think Matt's always the best at telling
you
this.
guys got to take the lead because I'm a late addition to the group.
So coming into pro wrestling, it was myself, Adrian, and we had a couple other friends, Tiger Watson, another friend that we just we were always friends in high school. We kind of had this vision together, like, hey, let's get into wrestling. And one day we actually took it upon ourselves. We went to the Monster Factory. We watched the show. We wanted to join so bad. We tried to talk to the owner, Danny Cage. He wouldn't give us the time of day. We came back for another show, tried to talk to Danny Cage, wouldn't give us the time of day. Then eventually, I think we came back for like a third show, and he's like, he doesn't give us the time of day again, but randomly pops out of a door and said, hey, we got a 3-day camp coming up. If you guys want to come, like, come check it out. So we do the 3-day camp. It's myself, Adrian, and our two friends. We went to high school together and go through the camp. Danny Cage tells us, hey, I want you guys to train. Like, he was telling people no at the time. He was saying, hey, you're not built for this, But he said, hey, I want you guys to train. So we're like, all right, cool. We started training. Maybe in the first couple of months, he kind of they all saw us group up together. And I'm pretty sure it was Damian Priest was like, hey, we're going to put the three of you together. It was myself, Adrian, and our friend Chris. And he's like, we're going to put you guys together. We used to do a death metal band. So he's like, you guys are going to be like dark, broody guys. We're like, cool. We dig that. We started as that. We did that for I think like almost a year, right? We did the original trio. Then at the time, Gabe may have been, I think you were training 2 or 3 months after us.
Yeah, maybe even like a little longer I came in. But like, I was just kind of wrestling as like this like nobody like character. Like I would be on like the pre-shows, or like opening match, like getting squashed and stuff. And like Primal Fear was like at the time like kind of starting to become like a mainstay of like the shows,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, we were starting to get a little more action at the shows. Originally, we kind of just got put together. We were going to be like squash guys because we were the greenest guys there. And after a little bit, they saw, I guess, the potential there. They called us Primal Fear. The name was a collective group of the three of us, Damian Priest and Blue Meanie. We're kind of sitting there because we had a 6-man match that day. Because you guys have a trios match today, come up with a name. So we sat in the locker room for hours, scratching our brains and just pitching ideas. And eventually, Primal Fear was the one that stuck the most. We went with that. And I think we did that for about a year until Damien pulled us aside again. It was like, hey, he's going to join you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, once again, like a lot of this, like in like a lot of ways, like a lot of our career and like where we are now, like kind of always loops back to like Damian Priest, you know. It's crazy. Like me and him kind of got developed like a relationship once I started training because we just happened to go to the same gym. And like before I started wrestling, I would always see him in the gym. You know, like he stands out. He's big. He's got all the tattoos. He's got the long hair. Like, and then we became kind of friends through like talking at the gym and stuff. And yeah, one day just at training, he like pulled me aside and he was like, "Do you want to join Primal Fear?" And like I said, I was like like nobody like squash guy, and I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like I'm just not going to get my ass beat anymore. Like this is awesome. And yeah, that was what, like
Yes.
7 years ago, 8 years ago, and we've been rocking
Yeah.
since.
We were going to be a
Yeah.
four-man team, but right as Gabe was joining in, our one friend ended up stepping away from the business. So we went right back to being a trio.
Got you.
Yeah, I wasn't going to be the tag guy, and then all of a sudden now it's been 8 years, and I've had like 3 singles matches.
Well, when something works, it works, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, no.
Every time I do have a singles match, I'm like, I hate this.
And, I mean, you guys have great chemistry together. You guys have great chemistry with the fans. See that almost every time you come out, besides the most recent time with SPO.
Yeah, well,
Which
then
was a
they
very
they had bad
interesting
taste
thing.
that day.
Yeah,
No,
but that
but
just
yeah,
comes
it's yeah.
from years of a lot of work, you know. We've made a lot of mistakes together. But but we've always taken upon ourselves to try to work through everything, and I think that's what helped make the bond that we have right now. Because not only are we just tag team partners, but we're best friends too. And these guys are my bros. And yeah, man, I'm grateful for the past 9 years that I've had with these guys because we've been able to be more than just a tag team. Like we're literal family, and we hope to showcase that whenever you see us together, at any pro wrestling event.
Yeah, and it's like a bond that gets like formed like through these, like you said, these like ups and downs. Like we've won together, we've failed together, like we've traveled, we've done 30 hours in a car in 3 days.
Yeah.
Like you're just together so much, and when it's something like this, it clicks. Because some people tear each other apart if they spend that much time together, and like we've always just meshed, man.
Yeah, plus I don't know any other trio that's lasted on the indies as long as us, man.
No,
We've literally been a trio for 9 years. I've seen teams, form, and I've seen them break up. So that goes to show.
Or you just get a rotation of members, and eventually it's no original members left in that group.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's just the
Let's
name
flat
now.
Yeah, we've been consistently going. Like we are probably like one of the longest tenured teams, probably on the Indies at least.
Yeah.
It's going to keep going for a million more years.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think we've been a team for a long time, a trio for a long time, but I feel like we're going to have like a resurgence as far as us as a trio since Adrian's coming back, and I just feel like we're going to be stronger than we've ever been. I think the next few months and the foreseeable future is going to be crazy for us.
Yeah, man. Like I'll even like we've changed over the years too. Like when Matt was explaining, like he said, we started off as these dark, broody characters, but then that evolved over time. Like we had to adapt to circumstances. Pro wrestling is always changing, so it was up to us to adapt with the times. We were one way at the beginning. Um, we got to Ring of Honor, and that helped us become something else. And then once that was over, it was, do we stick to the same thing, or now that we're on our own, do we change it up? And we did. We got rid of the masks, we found a new identity, and right now I believe we're having the most fun with the Primal Fear act.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, like, we've been slowly over time, like, just evolving into, like, the most, like, genuine, like, Primal Fear. Like, what you see right now is, like, it's pretty real, man.
Yeah.
Like, how I act like now, like when I'm wrestling, that's pretty much like how I am, you know, like Matt. That's like this is very real. Like, you know,
Yeah,
you always
really
say
authentic.
like you hear like they say like, you know, the best gimmicks are just you turned up to like 11. And like I
Stone
feel like
Cold
we
has said
finally
that.
Yeah,
we finally found that, you know. Like not that there
Yeah,
wasn't pieces of like that old gimmick that like was relatable, but like this is us. You know what you
this
see
is us.
now is it's authentic, like Matt said. This is
And
real.
that's what typically fans connect to more than anything is when it's just real and you can tell. It's just a natural vibe, that natural aura of the chemistry between you guys.
yeah, man. Because like for the first, I would say, man, for like the first 6, 7 years of us being together, like we were trying to figure out what Primal Fear was. You know, like we were being given a lot of ideas, and we were trying to make things work. But man, it got to a point where I just wasn't even having fun with what we were doing because it just felt so forced to me, and I didn't
Right.
want to do that. Because if I'm gonna have to force it and I can't do it, it's like we either switch and like we try to because if we're gonna do it, like let's make it let's do it in a way where we can enjoy it, you know?
Do
Like
it
if
more
I'm
natural.
gonna exactly if I'm gonna dedicate my life to this, if I'm gonna invest into all this, then we have to do it in a way where we're gonna genuinely enjoy doing it. And the primal fear that you see today is that. And man, who's to say it's only going to get better? Like we're still learning, we're an open book, and we take all these experiences as they come, and we're willing to adapt and change with the times, and we're going to do what's best for us.
So now, how did the Skid Row Academy come about?
So after the Ring of Honor dojo closed their doors, and it was like maybe early 2020, late
Yeah.
2019. That was during the COVID pandemic when that all happened, everything shutting down. Obviously we're not training during that time. We were probably driving to like a facility like once a week that was opening their doors to talent. You would pay a mat fee, you come in, you roll around. And then I saw it could have been like a Facebook post or something. This one wrestler I have met before, Deshaun Pratt. There was an announcement that he had become the head trainer at Skid Row Academy. And I never heard of this school before, but I knew Deshaun Pratt, and we were still looking for places to roll around. So I'm like, you know what? Let's check this place out. We showed up. They had 2 rings at the time, and they've granted us like they allowed us to roll into that second ring. So we'd come in, we roll around the second ring, and we would join class too. And I guess the owner just took a liking to me and the boys because there will be times where Deshaun couldn't make it, and I randomly get a text like, "Hey, do you mind running class today?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" And then that would happen every now and then there was something happened between the head trainer and the owner. So then he asked me to take over, and I said, at the time, I still feel this way today. I was like, who am I to be teaching anybody? Like, what have I done? Like, I'm still trying to learn myself, still trying to make it. But you know what? This is a hell of an opportunity, and like, why not? Like I felt like I've been brought up the right way. We started at the Monster Factory. I was able to train at the Ring of Honor dojo under some of the great minds: Joey Mercury, Jonathan Gresham, Will Ferrara. The list goes on and on. So I'm like, I do bring something to the table. So I'm gonna give this a shot. And the rest is history, man. The rest is history.
Yeah, and like a credit to like, Skid Row Academy and like the facility that it was, because like the place we were training at before was like it was rough, It was like a little beat up ring, like in a little tiny like hot garage, like everyone was training with, at the time, like you said, it was COVID. So like we were in this hot, tiny garage. Everyone had masks on, like, and then like we finally went to like Skid Row, and we were like, oh, like it was a really nice facility. They had 2 rings. They had like nice rings. Like they had good training going on. Like the place we were going before, it was kind of like just show up. There was no structure. Do what you want. Like people just were hanging out. Like so to us, it was really like a blessing to find another place to train because we had never not had training before.
Yeah.
We went from the Monster Factory to the Ring of Honor dojo to all of a sudden nothing. And during the nothing, we were finally having matches for Ring of Honor. So we were like, we got to get in a ring. Like we're doing matches. Like we got to be on our game. So like we were very thankful for them at the time that they opened their doors to us.
Yeah, so now I'll go back to like how I was saying, we were watching Damian Priest, coming up and we're his students. 'Cause now I feel like the role is reversed now like how we're on top and now we got our students, and now they're watching us grind, watching us do our thing. And it's just trying to pave the way and just show them, hey man, like if we work hard, then and if we can make it happen, then like we want to set that example for you guys.
Yeah, and like not for nothing, but like Damien used to always say too, like another reason he trained is because he felt like it made him a better wrestler as well. Like so now we kind of get that experience too, and like I see that, because like you need to kind of figure out how to maybe explain something differently to like a student that might not get it. Like you just look at things differently when you're teaching it as opposed to like learning it. And I feel like that's something that was like has been very applicable like as we are going on. And then Skid Row Academy, obviously, which we are now the tag champs of, Matt.
Yeah.
But that
like,
connects to Super Crazy Pro Wrestling, which has become our new home and is a spot that I really feel like in the past couple of months is, blowing up.
Yeah, and shout out to the students. They all work hard. Like Samuel Fozzy, Tim Dynamite, Devious Cast, like all these guys. They show up, they work hard, and like you can see it on the shows. And like I'm really happy to see how they've all grown. I'm really happy to see how the Super Crazy shows, have grown because the shows were completely different when we first started showing up there. So not only have we kind of like been there for the the school, we've also kind of been there for the shows themselves as well. So.
Yeah, man, and like when we like if we didn't feel like there was something good there, we wouldn't have stuck around. But there was definitely something good there, and we just worked together as a team to help make it what it is today. So like social media shows. I feel like even when like man, just come to a Super Crazy Pro Wrestling show and just watch some of these students get to work, man. Like their ability, their skills, their talent, man. It all speaks for itself. And that's just because we all don't mind getting dirty. We don't mind putting in the hours. We don't mind busting our asses when it's time to. Because we,
Yeah.
we have to do that in order for people to realize and see like, oh, okay, there's something is going on. Like these guys are legit. They're professional. They're about it.
Yep. And there's been a couple like, big name guys that have kind of stepped up and like took notice. Like one coming to mind is like Jordan Oliver has been on a last show. He's going to be on this most recent show. Like O'Shea Edwards, like like I said, I feel like we're really kind of creating a buzz, and hopefully it's catching on because they are good shows, and I genuinely feel like show after show after show, it's just becoming a better product.
Yeah, I tell everybody, like, you have to come to a show. It's a good time. It's always a good time. Everybody's performing, like, the atmosphere is a fun atmosphere. Like, come to a Super Crazy show. You're going to have a good time, and it's only getting better.
And for anybody who will be watching this who might not be able to make it, you can also see him on the Super Crazy YouTube channel, which when I'm not able to, that's where I'm watching everything. And the last couple shows have been absolutely great. Tim Dynamite, he's one of my favorites. I think he's a little
what a piece of trash.
Just a little full of himself.
He's taking on this coming show.
Yeah, Homeless Vaughn, who is my favorite wrestler in the world.
Oh, I absolutely love Homeless Vaughn.
But yeah, man, like right there, Tim Dynamite, man, he's definitely one of the most passionate individuals that I've ever met. And he's young too, man. He's only 22.
Wow.
Look, I tell him and Samuel Fozzy, they're both 22. Devious Cast just turned 18. Look,
wow.
I didn't start wrestling until I was 22. 2015, I was 22. That's when I started wrestling. So I tell Tim Dynamite, Fozzy, like I said, yo, you guys are better than me. At your age, you were better than me because I didn't even start wrestling until I was your age. So only imagine till they get to where I'm at right now.
Yeah, especially like, Devious Cass, like the fact that kid's been training like since he was like 13, I think. Like he said, like he just turned 18. And like he's out here having like awesome matches. Like it's really crazy, man. Like he looks like, and he's like coming into his own. Like he's starting to look like a grown man in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having been at a super crazy show, if you would have told me that these are all students, I would not believe you at all.
Yeah.
If I didn't know already.
Yeah, and
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. That's what I was saying. Like, and that's what we hope like other people understand is like, they're not just like student shows. Like these are good, high quality shows. Yeah.
Not just that, like the storyline is there too.
Yep.
And I mean, all you guys going out there in front of fans and putting it all out there every time, and it's connecting with the fans.
Yep. I feel like we have a family that venue now. Like anybody comes in the super crazy building, like they connect to us. Us personally, I feel like we have a great connection with our audience. Like, and it seems crazy, but it's to us, it feels like it's growing. It's only getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys as a team, what would be your favorite achievement at the moment of something you guys have done?
If we're talking as a whole, then maybe having that ROH 6-man title match for AEW is definitely a huge accomplishment for us. But I believe it was last week we had training. We had one of our coaches, Faye Jackson, there. And she asked me in front of the class, like, what's your biggest accomplishment in wrestling? And I told her this right here, just having the opportunity to just be able to be put in a position where I'm able to teach, these kids pro wrestling, like that's a huge accomplishment. Like I didn't get into this thinking, that I was going to become a teacher or like, I had no expectation when I got into this. This is just something that I wanted to do with my friend Matt and our other boy at the time who's no longer wrestling with us. But this is just something I just wanted to do something with my friends, and so much has happened during this journey. And it's just like even this conversation right now, like as corny as it may sound, like this is a huge accomplishment, because we've been in the game for almost 10 years now. And like, we're still growing, like we're still learning, we're still in here, we're still busting our asses, man. And like, man, this is just awesome, man. It's awesome. I couldn't ask for anything else,
Yeah, I mean, I almost had like that exact conversation with like someone I was just talking to the other day. Like they were asking me about wrestling, and like I told them I was like, anything like that happens, like he's like, I came this with no expectations, man. Like I just grew up loving wrestling, like having my birthday party at the Monster Factory, like when I was a little kid. Like so, like anything I do is like awesome. Like the fact that like we had a match that was like on TV, like unbelievable. Like we got to wrestle for like and do like a promotional video for like the Philadelphia Union, like unbelievable. We got to be at Madison Square Garden, like for G1, like unbelievable. Like so, anything from here, like we were in the Ring of Honor dojo, like that's crazy. Our trainer was just the champion of WWE. Like like it's just crazy stuff. Is that like that's hard for me to even answer because like everything is like my biggest accomplishment. I feel like
Yeah, I feel much the same as all of them. Like we're like, although I know there's more left in our journey, I feel so blessed to have had the journey we've had already. We've done
like we
so
got
much.
to wrestle at Universal Studios. Like, do you know how cool that is, dude?
Yeah.
Like AEW, like we wrestled at like the old Impact Zone. Like that's so
Impact
cool,
Zone.
dude. Like that's crazy, And like I got dressed like next to like Daniel Bryan, like talking about like Hamilton. Like that's crazy. Like
we've wrestled at the Impact Zone, the ECW Arena, the Hammerstein Ballroom. Like we've had some cool opportunities, and some people will never get the chance to do that. So every single day is a blessing in the business, but I know we have more left. So for right now, those are my favorite accomplishments and the biggest accomplishments. But I will say, we had that Ring of Honor 6-man championship match for AEW on AEW Dark. At the time, AEW Dark guys were not getting entrances. They would just kind of get preloaded into the ring, and then the champion, whoever enters would come out. They'd already be in the ring. They do your name, you pose. We had no idea. We thought we were going to do that same thing. Literally, maybe like 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes before we made our entrance, we look at the board. It has it saying something weird. We don't understand.
It had like an E next to it or something.
Yeah. And we were like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, you're getting an entrance. And I was like, dude, what? We're getting an entrance? And we're just like, we're kind of scrambling because we're like, we're not ready. We've never done an entrance on a big stage before in front of thousands of people. There's going to be largest presentation of our entrance ever.
Yeah.
We're kind of like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And like just going out there in front of that big of a crowd and looking back and seeing our name on the Titantron and hearing like theme music that we have no idea where it came from. Like, they had a presentation for us, and I would never forget that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, like like I said, like you can literally, if you like watch our entrance for that match, like I turn around and like I like point because like our logo's like up on the Titantron. Like I didn't know they had our logo. Like that was crazy.
YouTube. I'm gonna have to look for that.
Yeah, it was cool. And, like, you know, Paul White's like on commentary for that match. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah. Showing us out. He's like, oh, these guys look good.
Like,
I was like,
that's awesome. Like, these guys look cool. And I'm like, hell yeah, we do look cool.
Hell yeah, Big Show.
So, gentlemen, what is the funniest thing that's happened to you guys in the ring?
Man. In the ring or just like in this wrestling life journey?
Well, I'll take in the business.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind hearing about in the ring though.
In the ring, I feel like really nothing like too. Well, I have a funny story from before I was wrestling and I was doing camera for the Monster Factory. That's one I always like to tell. So it was like a Monsters Ball match. So it was like a legit, like very serious, like blood feud, and the match was like Damian Priest, Matt Riddle, and Abyss versus like Falaba, Kyle the Beast, and I forget who else. But like, you know, it's like this like gnarly, like hardcore match going on. I'm like super green in the business, like I'm just the cameraman, and like Fala takes this like big bump and he rolls out to the floor, and like, you know, he's like next to me, and I'm sitting there, I'm like filming, doing my thing. Like all of a sudden, I feel this little tap on my foot. And I looked down, and he tied my shoelaces together. And I had no way of untying my shoelaces because I had to hold the camera. So, like, I just had to literally hop around the ring, like, for the, like, last, like, 10 minutes of, like, this really, like, intense, like, match where there was, like, thumbtacks and barbed wire. And I'm, like, just hopping around, like, with the camera. Man. And I had never spoken to Fala before that. Like, that is my first interaction ever with him. And we still talk about that whenever I see him all the time.
Fala, if you're watching this, you're the absolute man.
It was an all timer.
That's a great rib right there.
I got a funny story too. It's not pro wrestling. It's like gay before wrestling. I'll actually tell you guys how me and Matt met. I always tell people, Matthew Ullman is a jerk. Don't let the smile fool you. He is not a good person.
I've never said I was.
Like we were saying earlier, this is real. He's not. Yeah. He's not.
But this was like transitioning from the 8th grade to high school, and there was a field trip to a skating ring, and you know your boy is not good at skating. My friends, they were trying to help me, but every time I tried, I kept falling, kept busting my ass. I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. So I guess it was a bunch of schools just went to the skating rink for this field trip. So I went to sit down, and here comes this dude, and I look up and he asked me, he says, "Hey, did you fall?" And I said, "Yeah." He just goes, "Ha ha," and walked away. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the first interaction that I ever had with Matthew Ullman.
And it led to a lifelong friendship.
Yeah, look at that.
What did you just channel your inner Nelson there from The Simpsons?
That's what I think of every time I hear that story.
You know, if it makes anyone feel better, you probably weren't the only person I did that to that day. I think I did it to like multiple people. I was just with people that day. I don't know. I wasn't asking.
So just know if me and Matt ever get into a feud, that's going to be my story.
The seeds were planted in 8th grade for the
it's been noted. They're going to have a Gabriel on a whole match.
Oh yeah, it's going to be. That's a Gabriel in a cage match. Above the cage. Yeah.
Stop, guys.
So, who were your guys' inspiration to get into wrestling? Like, who did you watch that was just like, I want to be him?
And I have a follow-up. Once you got into the business, who has been your inspiration?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So I can start again. Like when I was younger, I didn't see myself becoming a pro wrestler. I did it because my friend was doing it, and I just fell in love, you know. But ever since but when I was watching it, as a kid and teenager, whatever, my favorite was Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was my favorite, and then when I got in, he was one of my biggest influences. Guys like him, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho. I was a big fan of the guys who were very, very athletic, but also very charismatic. Because to me, I feel like that's the perfect pro wrestler. That you got the best of both worlds. You got that in ring ability, and you're able to do your thing on the microphone too, entertain the crowd. So those were my guys, man.
Yeah, my top three forever are Triple H, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels. I think like that's just the top of the line right there. But then like you said, kind of as you get older, you kind of get different influences because like the reason, like I grew up a wrestling fan. I loved wrestling. My whole family loved wrestling. Like I grew up very much in a wrestling household. But then you kind of get older, you become like a teenager, you kind of lose interest. But like what got me right back into it, and like what really inspired me like to become a wrestler and like start training was guys like Bray Wyatt, like the Shield. I thought were like the coolest thing ever, like which is awesome because I ended up like being in a trio. But like, and then now I like to look at guys like Mark Briscoe. I feel like is like an awesome guy to look up to. Like I love the Briscoes. I think they're like the greatest tag team of all time. We got to be there for like so many of their matches. Like, but yeah, like so guys like that for sure.
Yeah, so getting into even before getting into this, actually, my inspiration for wanting to be a wrestler originally was The Rock. The Rock was just the coolest guy. I was a kid watching
Blade picture right
there. Yeah, he was just the coolest guy in the whole world. And watching wrestling at the time, I was like, man, this guy's so cool. Like, I would love to do this. But before getting into the business, I was watching because you go from watching like WWF and the Attitude Era. WWF was in this middle period. Yeah, and it was cool, but a couple years after that, things started to change, and I kind of I liked it. I was still watching, but it was watching guys like Kenta and Daniel Bryan in Ring of Honor, Samoa Joe and TNA. Those were the guys I watched, and I was like, man, I could wrestle like that. Like I have a martial arts background. Like that's the wrestling that I would want to do if I was a wrestler. So just like a little more hard hitting, showing off like the background that I have. Then getting into the business and training, the guy I watched the most to kind of like, man, that's the energy you bring in all aspects was Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was a guy who any promo could be intense, any promo could be funny, any match could be intense, he can make any segment, any show just great just by performing the way he has to or the way he does. So he was my influence as a wrestler to just perfect the craft. But my style and my like influence of wrestling comes from that like 2000s TNA period. You see Low Key, Samoa Joe, Kenta, Daniel Bryan. Like those are the guys who like made me see wrestling in a way that I can perform that.
Yeah, but a lot of those your guys' names were guys that just me as a fan drew me at and made me a mega fan of pro wrestling. Like watching Shawn Michaels come up with Marty Jannetty as the Rockers. I was never a Hogan fan. I agreed with Bobby Heenan the entire time.
Let's go.
Never was a Hogan fan.
I was young and impressionable. It was the 80s. Things were different.
my grandmom always loved Hulk Hogan.
See, my Hulk Hogan was GCW, NWO Hogan. So that's the only Hogan I knew at the time when I was a kid.
See, I never really even like saw Hulk Hogan until he like came back because I wasn't a WCW guy.
We're a little older too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a kid, grew up in the 80s, was a teenager in the 90s, and anytime Hulk Hogan was on my TV, I turned it off.
That's why I feel like my guy's like the Undertaker. I'd watch that dude just crush it my whole life. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was a huge Stone Cold fan, huge fan of The Rock as well. I was even at WrestleMania 15 in Philly when
I was there. I was a little baby. That's my story I always tell. I was in the crowd as a little baby.
You guys were at the same show. It's crazy.
Look at that. Now we're doing a podcast together. How crazy is that?
Hey,
so the one guy you guys didn't name that I would put on my list is RVD.
Oh, RVD is the man.
Yeah, RVD.
He's not athletic enough to do anything he can do.
Well, fair enough.
I mean,
It's like, yeah, I'm not looking up to this guy. There's no way.
Yeah, as I can't do a backflip. Sorry.
Rey Mysterio was another one of my inspirations of who
Yeah, I
made
did
me
love
a
Rey
fan as
Mysterio.
well, especially in the WCW because he was the smallest guy on that roster, and he's going to doing 5-star matches practically with every other cruiserweight in that division they had.
It's crazy. Like, look back at his matches then, like they hold up today. Like his matches in the cruiserweight division at the time, I would stack them up against any match today, and it
What
still stand out.
Halloween Havoc, him and Eddie,
Yep.
Amazing.
yeah.
Eddie
I,
Guerrero is another one, because I feel like I literally remember being like a small child and like being so excited when he beat Brock Lesnar because like
oh man,
no one ever thought he was going to beat him. Like, and I
especially on
remember,
SmackDown, nonetheless.
yeah, I remember like coming home and watching that and like being like, oh my God, Eddie won! Like, I loved him.
So, what's some of the goals now you guys have becoming the trio again? You know, you're back at full strength now. What's the goal going forward?
I think, or I believe the goal is, obviously the end goal is to, hopefully get signed by one of these major promotions. But I think up until then, this is a time for us to like really bust our ass and really, make the most of this opportunity that we have together, me being back, and just really, really get ourselves established on the independence. Like I want people to start talking about Primal Fear. I want them talking about Adrian Soriano, Matthew Oman, Gabriel Hodder, and I just want them to know that, like, hey man, like we're here and we're about it, and like, like I feel like we're a hidden gem in the business. Don't nobody like we've been around for a little while, but I think in a short amount of time we're really going to start getting out there. But again, it's up to us to put ourselves out there and deliver at every single opportunity that we get, and like even take advantage of social media too, man. Like, we got to take upon ourselves, like put content out there and like, just let everybody know that we're here, man. So that's my goal, is to get recognized on the independents. That's my goal right now, become one of the top names on the indies. And as long as we play our cards right, man, and if we're willing to put in the work, it will happen.
Yeah, and I mean, I even got some goals for us that like I could break down like specifically. Like we had to relinquish the first trios championship we ever won, like at PPW. Like that was a cool moment for us. Like that was the first time us like that. Like I said, I feel like we are one of the few, if not only, like legitimate trios that have been brought up and trained together as a team. So like when we won a trio championship together, that was a cool like bit of acknowledgement for us. And then it kind of sucked that that was something we just had to give up. Like we didn't lose. And like that's over in PPW in Pennsylvania, so like that could be a goal to get them belts back because they're ours.
And I agree with both of them. Like, of course, we want to make it to an independent, any major company. We want to make it on the independents. But I just want to be like, I feel like we're an act. We're not just a trio of wrestlers. We're an act. We're like a commodity. And I really want to get recognized as that going forward. Like, I think not every promoter, but I think most promoters should see us and see the package that we're trying to deliver. And like, man, our show could really benefit by having these guys. We're not just wrestlers, we're entertainers. We're having good matches and we're having good promos, and like you can get your mileage out of booking Primal Fear at any of your shows.
I see it. I don't know why these fools don't. I see it.
I absolutely see it as well.
I can
Like,
tell by the hat.
But
Yeah, man. No, go ahead, man.
no, it's just on us to show everybody anytime we have the opportunity to. And honestly, it's on us to just make sure our reach is wide enough. I want to be looked at as entertainers throughout social media, on stage, in the ring, at any spot, anywhere.
Yeah, man, I was gonna say I feel really confident in what we bring to the table, because we respect professional wrestling so much that, like we bust our ass. Like I'm in my car right now because I just left the gym, like during my time away from wrestling while I was hurt. Like I was working hard, man. Like I was able to come back in even better shape than what I was before I got hurt, you know? And that's just a testament to my dedication and my drive to not just for myself, my boys, but to this business, because that's the least we can do, man. If you're willing to take that step forward, if you're willing to step onto that other side of the barricade, then do it with passion, man. Do it with respect for the business, and that's what I strive for, man. Because I just want to be able to show, people like this is what hard work looks like. Like taking it, like it's not about having the time; it's about making the time.
Yeah.
And for me, it's never a bother for pro wrestling. Like my life is pro wrestling, and I want people to see that every time they see me cut through that curtain. When they see me, Matthew Gabriel, like I want them to see like this is what it means to be a professional wrestler.
Yeah,
Well said.
like sometimes, like to get in that mindset, like you kind of just have to think like this is like a privilege that we get to do this. Like it's easy to get bitter and to like overlook it, but like this is awesome. Like I said, like I was a kid that was a baby at WrestleMania, that had my birthday parties at the Monster Factory, that grew up like my whole life like watching wrestling. Like the fact that I even get to be in a ring, like like that is what drives me. Like I think about being like a 4-year-old kid, like being like that's all I've ever wanted to do my whole life. Like
You get to live the
Yeah, man.
dream of
And
that
plus,
inner kid.
yeah, like it really is. And like I got friends that like like they say that they're like, man, like I think it's so cool. Like you never gave up on your dreams. Like how many people can
and
say like that they're doing what they wanted to do when they were literally a little kid? It's
Right.
like it's cool.
And like, hey man, like, and we're still in the independence. So like, we're almost 10 years in, and we're not signed yet. So like, we're just out here doing our thing, busting our ass, and like, like that's all it is, man.
Yeah, but you're doing something you love.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, if you guys could have any dream trios match, whether it's against another faction or three guys somewhere's out there, past or present, what's the dream match?
I always, 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 always have to say the Wyatt family. Just for personal bias because I thought they were so cool. That's just so tough though, man, because like I could give you 10 different answers.
Yeah.
But that's my fantasy one. Like if I could well, I think that match would be sick.
For me, I loved Bullet Club when they rose to like their most popular when they had Kenny Omega as the leader. So like for me, if it would have been against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Still
Like during
possible.
that
I was gonna
time,
say,
man,
yeah.
like they were one of the best trios out there. And like even when they had AJ Styles, they had Adam Cole, like any variation of those type of trios, man, like we would have tore the house down.
Yeah, man, dope. All still possible. They're not written off
It's
yet.
still, yeah, that one's still out there.
I Kenny in the Bucks is a good one, but man, if you're gonna do it, gotta do it big at the biggest level. Give us the Shield.
Oh, see, I was also going to say Evolution though,
Give us the Shield, baby.
because Evolution would be cash money.
Evolution is a mystery.
I want to get Blue Tista bombed.
Give me Roman, give me Seth, and give me Moxley. Give us the Shield.
Yeah.
Also, could still happen.
Could still happen.
But yeah, I feel like also it's kind of cool that we're in a time where like there is like trios to like look at, because a couple years ago like that wasn't really the case.
Yeah.
Like there are some like the New Day, like when they were going,
Yeah.
like
Or you had the idea that you have a trios, but usually two guys are the tag team, one guy's is the single, and you never really see them always in a 6-man tag. Where
yeah,
today there's divisions built around that.
yeah.
Right.
And the
And like
idea of factions.
that was something that like we were super excited about, like being in the Ring of Honor dojo, because at the time I think they were the only company in America that had a trios title.
Trios title.
So that was really cool. Before that, you had to go to Mexico or,
Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And now they're starting to even spread to the Indies. Like, I feel like it's something that's starting to pick up a little bit.
I definitely feel like it has a probably a better footing in the Indies overall, just because of the amount of talent pool there is.
Yeah,
And be
that's
able
true,
to
too.
pull guys together. Like for example, you guys had trios matches with Johnny Cashmere and the new Backseats.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. There's plenty of talent out there
Yeah.
who are in trios or some form of
Sort
faction.
of faction, yeah. The Revelation, they got a little, they got their trio. Like,
Yeah, man, I think it's just
ECW,
up
like we
to
were
us
talking
to,
about.
to put a spotlight on the trios division on the independents, and I truly believe we are able to do that. So, hey, man, just
Definitely.
just give us a little time. We'll make something happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep
See,
watching. Keep watching.
Oh, we're always watching.
so, gentlemen, who is the toughest opponent you guys have ever faced individually or as a team, whatever?
I mean, I thought our 6 man to get Shane Taylor Promotions was
Yeah.
like pretty tough match
Yeah. That was a
because
good
them
one.
boys hit hard.
I was trying to think like who legitimately like has beat me up the most. I got beat up pretty good by Headbanger Mosh one time.
No way.
Yeah. Him and Wrecking Ball Legursky really did a number on me. I was bleeding from my chest and my back.
Wow.
So that
Yeah.
one might have been my toughest match. And Matt just watched from the apron. He got
I
off
did.
that night.
Man, I was like, it sucks to be him.
Yeah, it was a bad one.
I'm glad
Honestly,
it's
I
not
think it was
me.
my idea too, though. And all the bad stuff that happens to me is always my own idea.
Well, yeah. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
you know what's really good?
yeah, and even like we've had a couple like street fights that were pretty tough. Going through some tables, getting hit with chairs and ladders. They're never fun.
Well, of course.
Well, maybe for
But
you.
Yeah. The
For us
rep,
as fans, it's
even like
absolutely
speaking of, a team that we've worked like locally, they're hard hitting guys. When you
They're
work
going
them,
to think hard.
you're fighting,
Yeah.
which I appreciate. I like that.
I probably would have to agree.
All
I
right,
think
guys.
promotions.
I was gonna say I'm sorry to interrupt, but guys, I'm truly sorry. My phone is not gonna make
You
it.
didn't make it.
Yeah, I tried charging it, but my phone it's just starting to overheat, and
Oh,
it's close. Yeah, it's almost time for
That's
the
because it's cooking out.
phone to go bye. Yeah, it's hot out here. Yeah,
Well, we have thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yes, thank you.
I was gonna say you guys can stay on, but yeah, I don't think the phone's gonna make it.
we will miss you.
You got We're gonna remember you.
But I just want to say, hey, thanks for giving us the opportunity to be on with you guys today. Like, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in person, and I'm looking forward to the next time we're able to come on your guys' show.
Definitely,
Thank
man.
you for coming. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being on.
Boys, hold it down. Let's give them an all fight, no flight before I get out of here.
So count down.
1,
1,
2,
2, 3.
3, all
fight.
fight,
Great.
no
Flight.
flight.
It's hard to
All right, y'all have a good night. Thank you so much.
Matt started lagging.
Was I lagging? I thought he was lagging. I was trying to keep up with him.
I think we all might have been lagging. It was
The delay.
virtual ones. It's not the same when you're not in person,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of harder to get that timing down.
Yeah.
Anything you guys like to plug or anything? Merch, stuff like that?
Yeah, you can check us out. We have a pro wrestling tees, which is True Primal Fear. We have a What a Maneuver as well, which is also Primal Fear.
YouTube
We
channel.
What'd you say? Oh, we got a YouTube channel, of course. We got our YouTube channel. You got me and Matt's socials, which you can see right here at the bottom of our screen. That is my username on all of my accounts.
All of
I
them.
believe that's Matt's on all of his accounts.
All of them.
We got a pretty busy week coming up at the end of June. We have Friday night at Super Crazy Pro Wrestling versus the Revelation. Yep, big 6-man action. First time all 3 members of Primal Fear have been in the ring together, having a match. Yeah, over a year.
Yeah.
That next Saturday, the next day, We are going to be in Riverton, New Jersey for dog wrestling, and we got a shot at the dog tag team championships,
Yeah, another
which
belt in the bag.
will be our 4th championship if we secure it.
Yep.
And then that next day, we are at Fight Pro Wrestling, which will be at from the Monster Factory in Paulsboro. So we got a busy 3-day stretch coming up at the end of June.
Yep. We're gonna kick everybody's asses.
Yeah, we're going to get
Everybody's
3
gonna
a week,
kick.
baby.
Can't wait.
I have one more question.
Absolutely.
And, the first time that I know I saw you guys was for SPL Wrestling, which wearing the hat. So I gotta ask, after aligning with Skills, what can we expect next, possibly in SPL Wrestling from you guys?
Probably for us to just win another championship, like we always
Most likely.
do. Yeah,
Most likely.
that's the plan. We do
Sending
got to
us-
get back there because I guess the rep, they got up on us that last match. I think it was still under a little bit of questionable circumstances. I didn't know that there was a concert going on before our match.
Yeah, what's up
happy
with
about
that?
I got a cramp out there. I got cold. I was warm, and then I got cold. But
They should have gave me a water bottle. Like, how are you gonna have
Yeah.
a whole concert? Right, I already warmed up. I'm warmed up and ready. Do our entrance, and all of a sudden, there's a 5-minute song being played. I cooled down completely. I was like, "This is hogwash. What is this?"
But now, we got this opportunity presented to us with Skills the Great, aka I like to call him the greatest manager in professional wrestling. I'm sure
Best manager in the business.
And
Manager of champions.
he's the manager of champions. We're a team of champions, and
We are some champions.
I think it's only up from here.
Yeah, I feel like we had good chemistry with him. I think it was a match made in heaven, and that's our boy.
Yeah,
Best manager in the business.
that
Just
listen,
watching.
the show before we all might have been a little confused. He was against us. Somehow we ended up on the same page, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hopefully,
Hey,
do
that's all
good
that
business
matters
together.
in the end.
Yeah,
Hey, if it takes you guys to winning gold, that's
Yeah,
the goal
whatever
in
it
the
takes.
end.
yep.
So I guess that's a nice little warning shot to the current champions, the Backseat Boys, huh?
Yeah, it's been a little bit since we got to get in the ring with them. They've been busy though. I'll tell you what,
Yep.
that is a
Oh,
team
yes.
that has been crushing it.
Yep.
Oh,
We're happy for them. So,
I have nothing but respect for them guys, man. They are hustling. They are on the road. They are putting in work, and I think it would be an honor to get back in the ring with them for them belts.
Yeah, we had a really good story with them at Super Crazy. Like that's something we've been focusing lately at Super Crazy is having these long-term stories, and we had like they were the ones we beat for the current championships. The Super Crazy Tag Team Championships we hold now.
Yeah,
And
we
just
they're
had,
guys that like we've known the whole time we've been wrestling. Like they
Yeah.
used to come around the Monster Factory. Like our careers have kind of like mirrored each other for a while, and it's cool that like we got to reconnect with them. We hadn't seen them for a little bit.
So boom, the Backseat Boys were the Graysons, and our friend Sage Matthews was the first 6-man tag team match of Primal Fear.
Not me.
Our original, not Gabe's,
Not
but our first ever 6-man match that Primal Fear was debuted was against the Graysons and Sage Matthews. So that's how far back we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep,
An
they were our
interesting
first trios
fact
match.
about this current Primal Fear, our first 6-man tag match ever was at our Ring of Honor tryout.
Yes.
We had never had a 6-man tag match before that. And so that was stressful.
And the first we had the first match we were baby faces, and it was not great.
No, not good.
Not a great match. And the second day we were heels. And at the point, like at that time, when you had a Ring of Honor tryout, it was at the original Ring of Honor dojo, which is now the Worldwide Dojo, which
In Bristol.
runs. It's in Bristol, Pennsylvania. You would have the head writer, producer, just the head honcho, which was Delirious. The Briscoe brothers were there. I'm trying to remember who else was
Christopher
there for our
Daniels,
tryout. Christopher Daniels,
It was
Kazarian.
literally, it was like all the top Ring of Honor guys. Like Damian Priest would be there. He was there at the time. And they literally, it was like American Idol. Like they would just be at a panel, and you would just be doing like drills in front of the guys all day. And like, there was times where they got pretty ruthless. Like I've watched them tear some people up. Like so, it was a nerve-wracking experience. That particular weekend, it was probably no lie over 100 degrees in the dojo. They had to call the first day early because it was so hot in there. But
we lost like 6 pounds that weekend.
Yeah, I used to paint my face at the time, and literally by the time the paint would be on, it would just be sweated off. Like it was. I'll
Oh,
never
no.
forget how hot it was there.
And like to truth be told, we had been only wrestling like we had been training for a few months.
I already had like 4 matches.
Yeah, we had, as a total, we had only been wrestling for maybe a little more than a year, and we had our first 6-man match. It wasn't great. I feel like they kind of at the time already kind of wrote us off for what it's worth. You know, they were just like, okay, whatever. The second day we wrestled as heels, and we just had one little moment of spark that caught everyone's attention, and that kind of, I believe, it saved our whole weekend.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I mean, our first tryout, like, definitely wasn't, from, like, a payoff perspective, like, it wasn't successful. Like, we didn't get signed. But, like, at the time, it wasn't really like that. Like, it was more kind of like a camp at the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they really liked people. They'd give them dark matches and stuff. But, like, then our second ever tryout was the one in Maryland once they moved to Maryland. And that was, the judges for that one was, like, Bully Ray.
Yep.
Delirious was still there. BJ Whitmer was there. And
Chris
then
McDaniels wasn't there, was he?
No, I don't think for that one. But that one, at that point, the dojo had kind of like reopened, and certain people received like an official invitation from that tryout, and we were lucky enough that from our tryout, we were the second ever tryout. We were a team that got picked. We were us and SOS, who at the time was Moses and Khan, which Khan is in Gates of Agony now for AEW. We were the only teams there. They were a tag team and we were a trio. But it was kind of cool, like that was really the first time for us we had ever trained anywhere with it that had another team.
Yep.
So that was cool for us. And like they were awesome guys. Like we had our tryout match with them. We worked them a ton for Future of Honor. I think you guys worked them once, right, for Ring of Honor, like when they were coming up. Like they were awesome guys. They're still, Moses is like on the indies and he's crushing it. He's been in like movies and stuff lately. And you know, Khan's on AEW, and like I love seeing them do good, man. They're good guys.
Any guys of current wrestling today that you're huge fans of and might like to have a match with at some point?
Current, that's tough, you know, like because I feel like I'm just a fan of like, you know, like Motor City Machine Guns would be awesome. Like we got to do a seminar with them, and like that was awesome. Like,
I could see you guys putting on a banger with a team like the Rascals and TNA.
That would be really cool. That was really a team, cool. You know, that like something like especially back in like when we first started as a trio, like we'd throw around. It's kind of like a dream match. That would be really cool. There's a lot of teams out there, man. Like I feel like tag team wrestling is like in a pretty good spot right now, to where there's a lot of talent out there. You just got to get to the right places where it is, you know,
and get around people who know what to do with tag.
Yeah, like that's one thing I was gonna say. That is one thing like I will give SPO a ton of credit for. Like they have quality tag teams there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Some of the best tag teams on the indies.
Yeah, they're there, you know.
Yeah.
The post game, I mean, their team, we just recently got to work at SPO for the first time, and then we got to work them at Super Crazy. They're like a young, hungry like team that are like crushing it. They're awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely see something with those guys at the last couple SPOs. Every match has gotten better than the last.
Yeah. Even like from when we wrestled them the first time to like the second time, it was like they're good. And like they're kids that, you know, they work hard. Like they're out there grinding. They're on the road. It's really cool to see, man.
Definitely, I definitely do agree. Tag team wrestling's in a great place, right?
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of teams, like as far as tag teams, like I would love to work DIY, Machine Guns. I'm thinking the Rascals is a cool one. Who are the tag team champions of TNA right now?
The Nemets.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. That'd be a cool match. That'd be awesome.
He's like Dolph, or Nick is like my favorite wrestler ever.
Ryan Nemeth, I've kind of had an online thing with him recently. When he posts something, I do like a laid back troll thing, and me and him will go have a back and forth. And I've never met him. We've never met face to face.
Drop in at True Primal Fear would like to have words with you guys.
I'll have a match.
Yeah. Hey, he one time backstage, he told us he liked our match
Yep.
after
No.
our AEW. He said, "Hey, nice match, guys," and I was like, "Wow, that's cool."
Tell him add a third brother. Do whatever. Grab one of his
Yeah,
kids. Whatever he wants to do.
yeah, maybe he'll remember that. I'll be like, "Come on, let's have a match."
Do you guys have any advice for anyone who's thinking they might like to get into the wrestling business?
Yeah, I would say like just do it. You know, like it's really like obviously like that sounds like very simple, but like it's so easy to like overthink and like be like, oh, because like
But what if? But what if?
yeah, like and the worst thing like you can just do is not try.
Yeah.
Like I was just telling someone the other day, I was like, like I only got into this because like I never wanted to just be like, man, I should have tried that. Like what could have happened, like. So I feel like you just got to go for it, and like you'll find out very quickly if it's for you or not. Like the people that don't last long do not last long.
After a couple stops and flat back bumps, you'll know.
you know if this is something that you
Get
really,
gassed running the ropes a little bit,
yeah,
I've had a little bit of experience in a ring, and I can definitely say it's something that if you're going to do it, be dedicated to it.
Yeah.
And don't sit there and think it's going to be easy, because it's a lot of hard work and
Yeah.
a lot of punishment on your body.
Yeah, something that like when we were at the Monster Factory, like Danny Cage used to always say was like he would be like, if this is your hobby, like pick a different hobby. Like,
It's not a good hobby.
Yeah, like you need to be dedicated to it. He was like, why would you just have like something you want to just do for fun that, like you said, takes up so much time, like destroys your body, like it's so mentally taxing. Like if you're not trying to go all the way with this, like I don't know.
Yeah, especially when you first get in, like it's literally eating your money to just be a wrestler, to train, to fuel yourself with food, to make it to training, to buy gear. Like you're just gonna be spending a lot of money and getting beat up. Like it's a horrible hobby.
Yeah, like
so my advice would be like take it seriously and respect the business, because like the business, it will eat you up. Like if you come in and you think you're gonna do this and do that and you don't take it seriously, you're just gonna eat shit for a long time. So best bet is to respect it and respect you back. As serious as you take it, it will take you. So
yeah.
And the veterans who are the ones you're going to want on your side will notice that right away if you're not truly dedicated.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I feel like that's something kind of in wrestling right now that's even though different from like when I started, is like there is like a good crop of like veterans on the indies that like are helpful to guys, and like it's not how it used to be. Like some of these guys are like spiteful and like don't want to help. Like
a lot less egos nowadays.
Yeah,
Well,
I think so.
I wouldn't necessarily say less ego, more of being able to put your ego aside to help grow the business.
Yeah,
as a whole,
because anyone who does this, you have to have a little bit of an ego. You need to think enough about yourself that you should say people should pay money to see me. Like, so you got to be a little.
Yeah, you gotta have that and be a little bit crazy.
Yeah,
who wants to go get beat up every day?
Yep.
It's like a fine line between crazy and that.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is very crazy. You know.
I mean, you guys are absolutely amazing from day one, and from the first time I saw you guys via SPO. You see the charisma there. You see the work ethic. You see the bond that you guys talked about earlier on, and it just comes across to the fans. And it's absolutely amazing.
My first memory of Primal Fear is seeing you take that shot from the Patriot like feet from me. And oh my God, the bleachers like reverberated.
That was what a fun day that was.
Right?
Yeah, that was a great match. The Patriot is a big solid man, and I'm a pretty solid man myself. So when two solid things hit each other, man, you feel the room shake. So
yeah, that was a tough match. He was hitting.
Oh yeah, he was doing pretty good. Yeah.
And I had just seen that before that match. I had just seen the Patriot the couple days before that ISPW event.
Oh wow,
that was cool. And like even that was something that was like cool. Like to walk in and be like, oh wow, like we're wrestling the Patriot today. Like that's awesome. Like
you guys definitely have accomplishments to be proud of over these last.
There's more. There's going to be more to come.
I really look forward to. I just feel like we're going through this like evolution period right now where We're coming back together as a trio, and myself and Gabriel have been working so hard while we've been a tag team, and now Asia's coming back. I feel like we're going to present something new to people, and I'm really excited to show that to the world. I think we have something special, and I'm going to go on a limb to say that it won't be much longer until the world starts to take notice of it.
Yeah, and we appreciate you guys for kind of giving us our platform to talk about this.
Of course, you see us at the shows. We know who's who. Like, we see who's putting in the work. We see who's getting the, yeah. Like, you guys definitely stood out to us from early on. First time we saw you guys definitely stuck in our heads, man. You guys, the work ethic, the ability.
We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate that.
It's definitely something for me to where I see that charisma and I can see it that this doesn't connect with me, but I can see it connects to other fans around me. Because sometimes something will connect with one person, but not the others.
Yeah.
And just to see that same energy I felt, everybody else around me felt. And even at the most recent SPO show, you got slightly different entrance.
Just a little bit of an attitude change.
Yeah, but instantly, myself and BJ both noticed. We're like, this is different.
Wait a minute.
Like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like this, but you still were able to connect.
And that was something that kind of, I guess, breaking down the wall or whatever, that's kind of a challenge for us that I feel like that day, we kind of stepped up to the plate. We had matches recently where we were working heel that I feel like it didn't really connect as well as it did that day.
Yeah. But, I feel like we were originally, as these characters that we were bad guys with crazy masks and big jackets. We were always heels going everywhere. So that's what we were for years, and recently just kind of evolving from those characters to be more authentic. We've naturally progressed to just being baby faces, and everywhere we go, not to kind of toot my own horn, people love us. So we connect with the audience everywhere we go. We became natural baby faces. It's kind of hard to pull that back and go to something we haven't done in a long time.
Yeah.
We found it that night. I credit Skills the Great.
Yeah, honestly, no. I mean, having him was a great help, but we were going out for that match. I definitely wasn't feeling super confident. I was and especially, it was just so weird, the dynamic of all teams. It was the rep, because we've wrestled them a million times, and it's the bad guy rep, beating the shit out of the happy baby fases. And we were we gotta flip this around today. This is gonna be interesting.
Rep got an amazing.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm credit to that too. Yeah, I feel like all four of us that night really stepped up and stepped into our own.
I was going to say, you guys and them, you're a couple of the teams. I'm surprised that's not in a developmental system actually signed somewhere.
Absolutely.
Because the rep, I'll be honest, they go out there and kill it every time I see them. Whether I'm seeing video of them on YouTube or I'm seeing them live. Same thing with you guys. The reactions you get, the ring work, the charisma, the connection between everything. It's just, I'll say it, how are you not signed?
Yeah, and the rep, something to their credit is man, they're definitely guys that if you want to talk about believability, they bring believability. They're intense and they look like they are hurting you, and sometimes they are hurting you.
Yeah, I just we've had our experiences and we've had our opportunities, and I feel like we're at a point right now where the biggest opportunity is yet to come. So it's not a matter of why not, it's just when at this point. That's right. I see it.
So
at this point, if they're not going to give the opportunity, go out there and take it. Make the opportunity appear, will it into the universe.
Yep. Exactly what we're doing right now.
That's one thing I learned. Sometimes you just gotta will it into the universe and push through the wall that's standing in front of you.
Yep.
Don't let the wall stop you. If you can't climb over it, then you gotta figure out how to go through it.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'll be fired up. I'm gonna
But yeah, you got anything else for these gentlemen, BJ?
Yeah, no, I believe for the sake of this recording,
it was fun. And the thing is, Man, we talked for like an hour and a half almost, and I feel like we probably could have done like another hour and a half.
Oh no, I got questions. I didn't even like. I got through like half my list.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I didn't even write questions down. I'm like, I'm just going to have my research.
Yeah, and sometimes,
I'll
I
start
think it's
asking.
cool. We flow.
Yeah, absolutely. We really do appreciate you guys coming on to do this with us. It's an absolute honor for you guys to be our first interview.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And hopefully we can plan on at some point, maybe planning on a Sunday to have you on live with us to do
Hell
something
yeah.
actually live on a Sunday.
Let's go.
Talk about TV products.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Again, Primal Fear, 3 weeks from today, super crazy.
Yep.
Gloucester City, check it out. If you can't be there, the show will eventually be released on YouTube.
YouTube,
If you want to see any of their past stuff, go on there and check it out. Give these guys follows on Instagram, YouTube, social media, wherever. At Matt Omen 999,
right.
at Fair Gabriel 13. And again, guys, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. You just crushed that outro.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Left to say.
I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys for having us on because this was a
thank
good
you
time.
guys. It was a lot of fun.
I guess I'll just throw this out there real
Yes.
quick.
Yeah. I've been waiting for that to make it.
Please send me that.
Just look
Please
at
send me that.
look at the
Perfect.
shirt. Even the shirt is a little much.
Rebel Rides. Please send me that because I love it. Oh my god, that's my next set of gear right there.
Yeah.
That's it.
But yes, again, guys, thank you for joining us. It was a complete pleasure having you on, and hopefully sometime soon we can set up to have you guys on again and maybe have you tell us some stories.
Oh yeah, I got it. There's plenty more to go.
Oh yeah.
All right. Everybody, thank you for joining us. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, leave some comments below if you have any questions for these guys. I'm pretty sure I can send them to them to get answered if they don't see it in the comments themselves. Everybody, be good to each other out there. Keep up the positivity, and we'll see you next time.
It's your boy Gabriel Hodder.
Matthew Omen, we are all fight, no fight, primal fear.
And you're watching BJ and DG Talk Wrestling. Yeah.